Okay there, YouTubers. Hello there. How are you today? My name is Earlene Robinson, and I'm coming at you again with another Wise Talk video. Okay? Y'all, I've been trying to cover these food stamps here for us here lately. Trump wants to cut food stamps. Okay? Use controversial meal kits instead. What you think about that? Wow, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You want to take away a people's free will to choose from what they want to eat and what they want to feed their children and what their taste buds have a taste for. You want to take that free will away. Okay, but see, my thing is this: if you're going to do something like that, Mr. President, look like you will create jobs. Your first thing is to create jobs, because you're taking the people off and then no other kind of resources but to depend, leaving us no other choice but to depend on those boxes of food. You know that's a disaster, Mr. President. You know that. I want y'all to check out this video. Now, if I run out of time on this video, I still want you to know that we do elaborate on such topics like this on my radio talk show. I want you guys to come and be a part of it. 516-387-1496 is the number to the Earlene's Show 2017 Wise Talk. Y'all call that number anywhere 7 days a week, from 9 o'clock p.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. I am on. I am your host, Earlene Robinson, and I will hear you there. Okay? We cover topics like this. I want you to come on and share your opinions. Share your opinions where it counts. You know what I'm saying? So if this video do run out, then you guys can always refer over to the talk show. Okay? You'll see the number in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The number and the advertisement, the promotions for the radio station are in social media. Okay, it's the Earlene Show 2017 Wise Talk. These are some of the things that we do talk about. I want you guys to check out some of the videos that I've been dropping. I also want you to look at them and come on the show and we talk about those as well. All right? Besides that, we do have Bible studies, praise, worship, and testimonies. And then we also have news for you. And then we have open mic and studio time on Fridays, every Friday, except tonight's Friday. I was not on air, I was not live tonight from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m., okay? I wasn't live. So, but I will resume tomorrow, which is Saturday, for Bible studies, okay? And I want you guys to join me there. But check this video out. This is one of our topics that we will be talking about.
Food stamps and using these controversial meal kits, and we'll be going over the significance of this, because while they want you focused on Fergie and also with Black Panther, meanwhile they're signing things behind closed doors, and you're going to see how important this is. And we're also going to be talking about NATO and what they're doing too behind closed doors. And we're also going to be talking about some of the problems that come along with this. But this says here, a proposal by the Trump administration that calls for replacing some food assistance to the poor with meal deliveries is raising questions among some social service agencies. And mind you, this was last week that the Trump administration proposed cutting food stamps, formerly known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, by $17 billion in 2019 and more than $213 billion over the next decade, according to them. In an effort to cut costs, the Office of Management and Budget Director announced, quote, America's Harvest Box for SNAP recipients. So rather than receiving assistance in the form of an electronic benefit card, or EBT, recipients receiving more than $90 in monthly aid would get about half that amount in the form of government-provided non-perishable food items. These proposals have yet to pass through Congress, but this is definitely something worth noting indeed. Now here is another article according to Time magazine where it says here, the plan is part of an effort to reform SNAP and save a projected $214 billion over a decade according to them. It would give all households receiving more than $90 a month in cash a food aid package that would include items such as milk, ready-to-eat cereals, pasta, peanut butter, beans and canned fruit, vegetables, meat, poultry, or fish, according to the proposal. And we're going to be looking at the White House proposal and the USDA food budget in just a moment to come. But if they were to enact this and pass this, what would be the issue? The issue then would be, rather than anyone on EBT going to decide what food that they want to get, well then the government is going to decide for them. And also, just as we've talked about back in 2016, where I talked about the EBT shutdown, and I'll be sure to link that video in the description box also, we talked about how what are they trying to do? This is all part of the shutdown, getting ready for the shutdown. And what if they prepare for a national emergency and then pass out these meal programs in preparation for that? What perfect timing indeed should they enact this. Now here we are at the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA. We're at their budget plan for the fiscal year of 2019, and this goes over a summary of their budget and what they plan to do, and this was revised as a few days ago. Now it's over 90 pages long. We're not going to go over all of it, but what we will be talking about is a brief overview and also the highlights of their programs and the 7 goals that they have, and then we'll be looking at the food, nutrition, and consumer services. Now, if you get to page 3, this is what they have. They have the highlights by goal after explaining the overview of the budget plans and what they have. Now, as you can see right here, it says the budget supports achievement of USDA's 7 strategic goals, and they have 7 goals. If you would like to read this in detail, I'll link it in the description box below, but we're just going to be talking about the SNAP program in this video specifically. And here we are at page 10, where this gives strategic goal 7, so the last goal, where it says provide all Americans access to a safe, nutritious, and secure food supply. When we know better than that, because I'm going to tell you the real agenda behind all this, but it says a plentiful supply of safe and nutritious food is essential to the healthy development of every child in America and to the well-being and productivity of every family, because your USDA and all of your alphabet soups, they could care less about any of this stuff. Anytime they put this stuff in here, it's the exact opposite. Just look at the chemtrails. Look at the GMO foods and look at all of the poisons and how they're subliminally, subconsciously poisoning the American people. Just take a look at it and you'll see who were the main governmental organizations, the same alphabet soups involved. But let's keep going, because then it says USDA works to help prevent foodborne illness and protect public health, as well as aid access to safe, nutritious, and balanced meals and promote a healthy diet. That could not be farther than the truth. But anyway, it goes on to say that their nutrition assistance programs help ensure food security by providing access to a nutritious diet with emphasis on those facing particular need due to unemployment, recession, disaster, age, or disability. These programs also work to promote well-being by providing assistance to help ensure access to a diet consistent with the dietary guidelines for Americans. Then they talk about their focus on preventing product contamination and foodborne illnesses, but now we're going to go over their goal-centric programs and initiatives, where they say how the budget includes more than $1 billion to fully fund the costs necessary to support over 8,100 personnel located at over 6,400 processing and slaughter establishments for meat, poultry, and egg products in the U.S. They also talk about the nutrition assistant, where the budget includes funding to support estimated participation levels under current law, including $73.2 billion for the SNAP program and all their other programs, and then also the 2020 Dietary Guidelines for Americans, or the DGA. But if you keep going to page 11, then it gets into the program reforms, and this is where it gets very interesting and suspicious indeed, because it says here the 2019 President's budget include legislative proposals to reform programs to better target federal dollars while contributing to deficit reduction efforts. The budget also reduces and eliminates programs that do not support USDA's core mission or are a lower priority. Now, this is the part where it talks about getting rid of the $200 billion over 10 decades, where it says, reform the food safety net while promoting work. The budget includes a bold new approach to nutrition assistance that combines the use of traditional SNAP EBT cards with the USDA Foods box that contains 100% American-grown products. What is the problem with this? Now, for those who are on these programs, if they are to pass this, then the government gets to decide what goes into your body, rather than your having a say if you were to go to the store and use an EBT card. Then it says, in addition, the budget focuses on innovative administrative reforms on outcome-based employment strategies. This expands on previous proposals to strengthen expectations for work among able-bodied adults that will lead to self-sufficiency, reserves benefits for those most in need, promotes efficiency in state operations, and improves program integrity. Now it says the proposal within SNAP has the potential to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse by limiting opportunities for benefits to be misused or trafficked. Combined, these reforms will save American taxpayers over $200 billion over 10 years while maintaining a commitment to ensuring all Americans have access to food and being good stewards of taxpayer dollars, even though they'll never tell you that you do not need to be paying taxes in the first place because the IRS is not even in the Constitution anywhere. Not only that, but they just print out more money, and that's how they have this money, because it's all based on a fake, fraudulent system. There's no such thing as debt either. But going on to talk more about the SNAP program, here you can find more about it on page 41 in this document, where it says food, nutrition, and consumer services. It then gives the mission of it. It talks about the different programs that they're working with. But if you keep going, you can actually look at the tables and the different budgets that they have for it. On page 42, it then talks about food and nutrition service and how the budget provides funding for the major nutrition assistance programs, accounting for projected program participation and food cost inflation. They also have different charts and tables that you could take a look at for the budgets for 2017, 2018, and 2019, as you can see right here. Now, once again, we're not going to go over all of this, but I just wanted you to see it. They even have graphs right here that you could take a look at. But then when you get to page 43, they talk about the SNAP program, where they say SNAP will continue to respond to economic need, and that in 2019, participation is estimated to fall to an average level of 40.8 million participants per month from 42.2 million in 2018. That's well over a ninth of Americans, and they have the tables provided right here also. On page 44, they go over child nutrition programs, mostly having to do with schools and lunch and breakfast programs at these schools. And then they also talk about the WIC. And then page 45, they go over the Commodity Assistance Program, the Nutrition Programs Administration, or the NPA. But then when you take a look at page 46, they then give a figure of people served through the Nutrition Assistance Programs and talks about the proposed legislation. And this is the part where they say in their proposed legislation that the budget includes a new bold approach to nutrition assistance, combining the use of traditional SNAP EBT cards with the USDA Foods box containing 100% American-grown products. And they claim that the USDA Foods box proposal within SNAP has the potential to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse by limiting opportunities for benefits to be misused or trafficked. And now we're at the White House website, where we're talking about the American budget that Trump has proposed for fiscal year 2019. Now, we're not going to go over all of this because it talks about the major savings and reforms. It's well over 200 pages in the PDF, but I'll be sure to link it in the description box below. This comes from the budget of the U.S. Government Office of Management and Budget. Now, here at the table of contents, they list all of the different departments and all of the costs, and it's all laid out per department. As you can see, they have the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Education. I'll link it in the description box below. if you would like to take a look at this to its entirety, but as you can see, it lays out and outlines all of your alphabet soups, including the DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Housing and Urban Development, along with talking about the budget for these different programs that they have. But in order to save time, we're going to be taking a look at the Department of Agriculture on page 128, where it says, reform the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. So now we're at that page together, and it says right here, reform the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, Department of Agriculture. The budget proposes a suite of legislative proposals for the SNAP program, encouraging work among able-bodied adults, targeting benefits to the neediest households, and promoting efficiency and integrity in program operations. The budget would also create a new approach to nutrition assistance that combines traditional SNAP benefits within the U.S. Department of Agriculture foods provided directly to the households. Then it talks about the cost-effective approach, and it gives you the funding summary in millions of dollars right here, as you can see. Now it gives you 2019 all the way up until what they have right here, 2028, and also the 5-year plan, and then the 10-year plan right here. So you can see within this, they're looking to cut what? $213 billion within 10 years. Along with $17 billion in just a year right there. But then they give their justification, which says, SNAP currently provides low-income households with electronic benefits they can use to buy groceries at authorized retailers or for those who are under the EBT program. As a primary component of the social safety net, SNAP has grown significantly in the past decade. As expected, SNAP participation grew to historic levels during the recession back around 2008 and 2009, almost 10 years ago. However, despite significant economic improvement and a strong recovery in the job market, enrollment in SNAP remains stubbornly high. The budget now proposes a bold new approach to administering SNAP that combines traditional benefits and 100% American-grown food provided directly to the households, as we've already talked about and covered. But it says the household receiving $90 or more per month in these benefits will receive a portion of their benefits in the form of a USDA foods package, which would include items such as the milk, the ready-to-eat cereals, pasta, peanut butter, beans, canned fruit, vegetables, meat, poultry, or fish, and then the remainder of the benefit would go on their SNAP EBT card for use at approved grocery retailers. But the fact that the government still gets to decide what you can and cannot have is a red flag indeed. Now, they claim that it's cost effective and that it will generate significant savings to taxpayers, as we've already gone over, but we know the real truth about this. And then how they say that it would also expand on previous reforms aimed at strengthening the expectation for work among able-bodied adults and preserving the benefits for those most in need. But what is this really getting ready for? It's really getting ready for the shutdown, just as we talked about before, because when stuff does start hitting the fan and people can no longer get their SNAP EBT cards, they're already ready to go. The other question to think about is if this does get proposed and it does passes through the House and the Senate through Congress, well then here's the other issue. How are they going to distribute these food boxes? Will they have them readily available at a Walmart somewhere? Will they have them available so that when you have to go there, the only way you can actually get these benefits and the only way you can get these food boxes is if you were to go to a place such as a Walmart or such as a hidden FEMA camp and then you have to stay there? Could that be part of the plan also? So while they claim that it's going to motivate states to maximize SNAP administrative efficiencies and to invest in outcome-based employment strategies for SNAP participants and how it would also improve program integrity through state accountability and data sharing, will it actually do that, or is there a more sinister purpose behind all this, preparing for the shutdown and the national emergency, as we've gone over in previous videos, also covering the shadow government? Because your government and your military, they have a plan, all right, but the question is, are you aware and alert to the world around you and to what they're really getting ready for? Because it just so happens that also around this time that this budget was announced, that it was also announced that NATO will put new command centers in both the US and Germany, according to officials and in a report from Bloomberg. Now, this report right here says that NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, will make U.S. and Germany the locations for 2 new military headquarters that mark the first upgrade of the alliance's command structure since the end of the Cold War, according to officials. The U.S. will host a planned NATO command center focused on maritime security in the Atlantic, and Germany will be the site of a center responsible for troop movements in Europe, the Brussels-based officials said, on the condition of anonymity, and this was based at the meeting that was last week, actually around the exact same time of Trump's budget announcement and wanting to cut food stamps and replace it with the meal programs. And now they're also talking about this. What does it sound like? What are they getting ready for? It sounds like they're getting ready for what? World War, because it says that they haven't done this since the end of the Cold War. And we know that behind closed doors right now, even as we speak, your government and your military have been working vehemently with the fallen ones who are underground right now, even as we speak, preparing all of these things to come so that when stuff really does start hitting the fan, your government, along with your army, and we've done plenty of documentation talking about this with the Civilian Inmate Labor Program and many other documents along with FM 3.39-40, how they have secret FEMA camps in secret locations undisclosed to the public, as we've also gone over in hidden secret CIA documents like Project 908, all of which will be operational and available come the time of martial law to be instituted. And could these meal programs have something to do with this, especially at such a time as this? Please seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha, because as you see, they're getting ready more and more, and all of these things is not a surprise or a coincidence, but it's very interesting and suspicious indeed to note. And we continuously have to pay attention to these things and keep watch at all times. But this is Truth Unveiled here, keeping you updated as always. And
okay, so once again, we have the videos on food stamps and how they're planning to just do away with them, I guess, and to it's just something we need to talk about, something we
our
need,
RCG class action project.
something
we
we
decided
need
to try to live on Snap.
We need to dig deeper into, because I'm sure, and I know of a fact that that rabbit hole goes deeper than you know what I'm talking about. Just think about it, people. How often have they came up with a plan for poor people that it worked? Why don't they just give up trying to work things out for poor people? Why don't they just work stuff out for the rich? You know what I'm talking about? Leave us alone. Let us live. You know, go build wherever you're going to build and just leave us alone. We'll manage here. You know what I'm talking about? No, because see what I'm saying, ever since a government came about, nothing has been good for poor people. Only people that getting richer are the rich people. You know, nothing is working out, and you can't, we're sick of hearing, well, you can't please all the people all the time. Man, get a grip with that. Miss me with that. There's no president that got up there in that chair, not a one, and helped poor people the way they should have. You know what I'm saying? They got up, the only thing they do is get up there and continue to fill their pockets, including the one that you guys call your savior, which are the Obamas. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't do nothing but fill their pockets as well. And he's still talking about a legacy. Man, a legacy, my behind. You didn't do nothing to deserve no legacy. I don't even understand why black people ran out there and voted for you. Obama, I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted. Every time I hear mention his name, I'm disgusted with him on how he did us. And he still think that we supposed to look up to him. I didn't do it then, and I ain't doing it now. You know, till that brother could show us that he with us, ain't nobody trying to hear that, Obama. Go on somewhere. Go somewhere with that. You done got your pockets full. What more do you want? Oh, I forgot. You gotta continue doing what the masters say, right? That's about it, because that's what you got in there for anyway. Anyway, you gotta answer to Most High with that one, and plus a bunch of other stuff that you're doing. Okay? But anyway, guys, come on the show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. It needs to be talked about. All right? Because it's happening. Just because it haven't hit your neck of the woods doesn't mean it's not happening. You guys need to check out some other states and stuff where people are really feeling this. It's happening and people are really feeling it. All right, guys. Call the number 516-387-1496. Call that and I, your host, Earlene Robinson, will hear you there. Good night.